Ready. So all of you have a book? Will be. सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Humble prostrations to Pujya Swamiji. So shall we open to page number 120? We will chant first 14 verses together. We have learned them. Shri Ramaya Namastubhyam Kripaya Tava Shakyate Sukhenabhyasitum Labdham Jnanam Dainika Jeevane Vedanta Darshanam Shuddham Pratyakshanubhavam Param Sarvada Yenutishtanti Prapyate Tairdhruvam Padam Nahankaro Manobuddhihi Deho Nahankadachana Iti Vedanta Vakyasya Bhavaschintyah Punah Punaha Teshamatmatvamatram hi Nirastamiha nastita Yojaniyascha tasmate Vyavahare vivekataha Naradehah punyapraptaha Sarvabhutahite sada Nishreyasi cha yoktavyaha Sarveshe chati premataha Anishtamishtam mishrancha Phalam prapnoti manavaha Kritakarmanusarena Samatvam teshu dharayet Yasmadhritena kinchana Kriyate karma manavaihi Tanmanah kalpanarupam Yojyatam savadhanatah Vishayasakti rupena Manobandhanakarakam Ishwararpita rupena Tanmano mukti sadhakam Tasmat sada hi dhyatavyam Sadhakena prayatnatah Mano me shiva sankalpam Astu te kripaya prabhu Buddhim tu sarathim vidhi Yanayed ratha jivanam Karya karya vivekena Manushyasya dine dine Yad vishaye pramanam yat Janiyat tat pramanatah Swarupam nishchitantasya Karma kuryan narastatah Vyavahare chikitsadi Shastrani vividhani suhu उपयोगन्नरस्तेषां यथा कुर्यात् परिस्थितिः श्रुतिस्मृतिश्च धर्मादौ वेदान्तो ब्रह्मदर्शने प्रमाणं विद्यते साक्षात् किमन्येन प्रयोजनम् अहङ्कारस्य विज्ञेयः तादात्म्येन हि जायते देहादिभिर्गुणैः साकं यो विभाति तथा तथा. So we have seen, if we just take a glance through the verses, I prostrate to Sri Rama, for because of whom this knowledge can be practiced in the daily life. Then what is the glory of Vedanta was told in the second verse. Then what is the declaration of Vedanta? I am not the ahankara, mind, body and the intellect. Then in the fourth verse it was said, yes, I am not that, but their existence is not denied. Only the minus, that the selfhood in them is denied. Then how should we use? So therefore in the fourth verse itself it was said, therefore we should use it in the right way. The instrument should be used correctly. Then how to use the body? By doing bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga. That was told in fifth verse. Then sixth verse told us that whenever we get any fruits of actions, we will always get it either like desired, undesired or mixed. In all of these I should keep my calm, samatvam. Then in the seventh verse, this Guruji said that mind is something without which I cannot act. So this mind has to be first understood and then used correctly. This much we had seen up to verse number 7. Now we come to verse number 8. How to use the mind? Yesterday we saw that mind is the instrument of all the actions that we do. Mind is the instrument of all the experiences that we have. So yesterday we have tried to understand what is this instrument that we have, which is called as mind. Now today it will be told in the 8th verse that how to use this mind. So we'll together chant 8th verse. Vishayasakti rupena मनोबन्धनकारकम् ईश्वरार्पितरूपेण तन्मनोमुक्तिसाधकम्. Simple Sanskrit. Mind which is attached to the objects is bandhanakarakam, that causes bondage. Vishaya, vishayasya asakti, vishayasakti. When I have attachment towards the sense objects, it is called vishayasakti. If mind is of that rupa, of vishayasakti rupa, then it is bandhanakarakam. It is binding me, it causes bondage. Ishwararpita rupena, that same mind, that same mind. That means it is not. We are not creating a new mind. We are not importing a different mind. No, that same mind, if I take out from the objects and put in the Lord, then that same mind becomes mukti sadhakam. It becomes a cause for liberation. Now, this is very easy to understand, that Vishaya Sakti Rupena, that mind is bandhanakarakam, it is bondage. But it is important to understand that why does mind get attached to the sense objects? If I understand that, and if I see the flaw in that, then I won't have any problem. Then I can take it out from the Vishayas and put it in Bhagwan. So first I need to understand why the mind is very much attached to the sense objects, whether it is food, music, all of them. So what we have seen is, all of you here have studied Vedanta at some point of time. So we all know that for example, I want to get something. For example, I have given an exam and I want to, of course, if I give an exam, everyone wants to excel. So I want to excel in that exam. And then what happens is my mind is very much agitated, especially when the exam dates are nearby. Sometimes the mind becomes so agitated that people, that they finish their lives even before the results are declared. They are so scared, which is indeed very sad. However, so the mind is so agitated that I am not, my mind doesn't get into anything. See, that time if someone says, चल रे थोड़ा मूवी को जाते हैं, अरे नहीं रे कल रिजल्ट आ रहा है, मन ठीक नहीं है, we are not able to concentrate on anything. Why? Because I am so anxious about what is going to happen. So then, if you have observed, especially those exams where I have not done well, if I have done well in the exam, then I am not worried. But if I have not done well, then I am more interested in knowing what is the result. So, that anxiety, it goes on increasing, and it becomes, when you are actually going to maybe open the website or get the report card in the hand, just before that you can hear your heart. The palpitations are so fast. And then finally, when we get the result, when you come to know you have passed with distinction, then you are very happy. So happy. Why? Because all that too much of anxiety, all the agitations have suddenly come to an end. Complete cessation of all of them and calmness. And then that is the reason the happiness which is within me shines forth. So whenever the mind is calm, the happiness within shines forth. And this happiness, and then what happens is I superimpose that happiness on that report card. I feel that, oh, because I got good marks, so now I'm peaceful. Or because I wanted to eat this particular taste of gulab jam for a long time and today I got that, so I'm happy. It could be many things. So the point is that more and more the agitations to achieve something, more we get attached to it after we get it. Why? Because the more we get, the more our mind becomes calm, the more superimposition of joy happens on that object. And then because of that, we feel, oh, this object I require. And then slowly, you see, if you go in a mall, you go to this Phoenix and all, what happens? Too many things. The whole business of the mall works on display. The better the display, the better the things they sell. So that beautiful display, and unfortunately our pockets are really small. So when we go, it actually adds a lot of agitations. I want this also, I want this also, I want this also. So the more I want, the more agitations I am creating in my mind. And then one thing when I get, if I get, that slowly, all those agitations, one thing I got, one agitation reduced. Another thing I got, another reduced. But what is happening? I'm not thinking that, oh, because my anxiety has reduced, so I am being happy. No, I'm thinking because I got that, so I am happy. And then what happens? I feel this is giving me happiness, so I have to keep this with me always. I have to keep this person with me, keep this thing with me, keep this situation around with me always. If I can do that, then I will be happy. So this is the reason I get attached to sense objects. If I can be alert always, that it is, the happiness is not coming from there, it is coming from me only because of my state of mind, then automatically the attachment will reduce. If I know this, if I am always alert, just imagine you are very happy, something you have got. On your birthday, you got a beautiful gift. You wanted that iPhone for a long time, and someone, a great philanthropist, came and he gave you an iPhone. I don't know whichever is the latest one on your birthday. Just imagine how much happiness. Now just imagine in the midst of that happiness, if I can think that, this happiness is not because of the iPhone, it is because my mind is calm. Now imagine the happiness. This thought will give me much more happiness than the happiness of getting an iPhone. Because the happiness of getting an iPhone has one more emotion or one more thing attached to it, the fear of losing it. I'm happy to have an iPhone, but I'm equally scared that, I might lose it, it can get damaged, so many things can happen to it. It can be stolen, whatever. But if I can go a step above, and if I can think, the iPhone is not giving me happiness, I'm getting happiness because my mind is calm. Just imagine the independence that we can feel. Now, this independence I cannot feel if my mind is not attached to something higher. In childhood, girls usually play with the dolls and boys play with the marbles. And there we have seen some, especially this third, fourth, fifth standard, they have a big box of full of marbles. And if the younger brother wants it, he doesn't get a single marble. They will take out each other's blood for one single marble. Because I am so attached to it. And suddenly one fine day, that elder brother, when he goes to 6th, 7th standard probably, he calls the younger brother and he gives the whole box. And then the younger brother pinches himself. Am I dreaming? What happened? Now the elder one has got a cycle. Now he doesn't want to play with the marble. So, if I can attach myself to higher, I can get rid of the lower. We have always seen this in our life. And getting rid of the lower is called growth. That girl who would always take the doll everywhere with her, she will eat with the doll, she will sleep with the doll, she will bathe with the doll, she will take the doll to the school. That girl, when she discards that doll, we say, beti badi ho gayi. So, leaving one by one things, we grow. Then what is the greatest growth? Leaving everything. How can we leave everything? By getting attached to the Supreme. So therefore it is said, Ishwararpita Rupena Tanmano Mukti Sadhakam. That mind becomes, the same mind takes me to liberation if it is Ishwararpita Rupena, if it is connected to the Lord, if it is devoted to the Lord. In Vedanta, there is one word which we all are scared of, which is called Vairagya. Now, this Vairagya is also called as Virag. Virag. In Sanskrit, there are words where we have a prefix to the word and then the word. So in the word Viraga, the prefix is V and the main word is Raga. So V plus Raga is equal to Viraga. Now every prefix has a meaning. Raga means attachment. V has two meanings. One meaning of V is Vigata. Vigata means devoid of. So Vigata, V plus Raga, if we take V to be Vigata, the meaning will be devoid of attachment. Another meaning of V is Vishesha. Simple words, Vishesha. So if we take Vishesha to be the meaning of V, then Vishesha plus Raga is Viraga, which is special attachment. So what are the two meanings of Viraga? Devoid of attachment and special attachment. Now usually when we speak of Vairagya, the part which is highlighted is devoid of attachment. become detached from this, become detached from that, to stop doing this, stop doing that, stop seeing this. But the other part is rarely highlighted, which is Vishesha Raga. Till I don't get the cycle, I can never leave the marbles. Till I don't get something higher, I can never leave the lower. So, till I get Vishesha Raga in something, I can never be Vigata Raga from the world. Unless I become very specially attached to something higher, I can never be devoid of all the attachment from everything else. Example. Um, till like for example, if we have seen, sometimes what happens when we there's, all of us usually we have one relationship in our life which is the most important, and this relationship goes on changing. In childhood it is sometimes one friend for whom we can leave entire world, even our parents for that matter. At least that feeling is there in our heart that इसके लिए भाई तेरे लिए जान हाजिर है. We say that. So usually there is something for whom we can leave everything. Now what happens is that something is not a permanent thing. Either the relationship is not permanent, there can be ups and downs in every relationship, or unfortunately sometimes that person itself might disappear, and therefore that can't be constant. Swami Akhandanandji Maharaj of Vrindavan, he says, what is to be done? He says, today, all our relationship with the world, with the people, with the things, how are they? We have one thread. One thread is with the husband, one is with the mother, one is with the father, one is with the friends, one is with the office colleagues. So, and none of the relationship is really very strong. There can be so many ups and downs in every relationship. So, what he said, take all of them, make a thick rope of that, and put it in the Lord's feet. That in that way you can put your mind in Bhagwan. And when we put our mind in Bhagwan, that mind becomes Mukti Sadhaka. Why? How come putting the mind in Bhagwan, how it will be Mukti Sadhakam? Why? Because Bhagwan is all pervading. And it is possible to get a vision of Bhagwan through everything. In the Puranas it is written, imagine that this earth is the body of the Lord. The trees are the hair. We all have hair. Trees are his hair. Then the clouds, the blue sky is his body, and the clouds are his, we have that black dot in our eyes. So there is so many descriptions of how to see Lord in and through everything. When we see a beautiful flower opening, a beautiful flower blooming, what do we think? See, what a creation of the Lord. There are some flowers, you see there are so many petals. It is so much with the petals, and every petal is so well symmetrically done. Even if it is a small, marigold flower, so well it is done. We can look at that flower for hours and say, wow, oh God, what a creation. And there are so much of variety. So we can never get bored of. If we have one relationship in the world, we can get bored of. My wife cooks the same taste every day. I can be bored of that. But look at Bhagwan. Oh God, there is n number of variety. So we can never get bored of it. And Bhagwan himself is Mukta. He is not dependent on something. If I depend on something which is already dependent on something else, how can that thing give me independence? Yesterday we saw what is liberation, independence, complete independence. So my mind should be connected to that which itself is independent. If I need money, I should not go and ask a beggar. Of course, today's beggars have big, big flats, we know that. But I should go and ask someone who has money. How can I go and ask someone, like, when we initially, when we learn swimming, this happens. I am not able to swim and I hold on tightly to another person who is also not able to swim. And then both of us drown in 3 feet. We drown in 3 feet. So, it is very important to go to a samartha. Samartha who is capable of. Unless and until I seek someone capable, how can I get rid of the things? So, what is the correct use of mind? Ishwararpan. What is the meaning of Ishwararpan? Sorry? Surrender to God, yes. How do I act? How do I act out surrender? I understand that I should surrender. Mentally, it is understood. But 24 hours, what do I do? मन में surrender है, लेकिन 24 घंटे क्या करना है? Yeah, correct. We should not think of the problems. And we should, see, Gurudev has a beautiful quote. In whichever situation you are placed, that is the best for your growth. So, just now, like Amma said, just stop thinking of all the problems. Choiceless performance of the duties as an offering to the Lord. Bhagavan, you have put me in this situation, I will do. In this situation, whenever we are in a particular situation, there is a set of duties that we have. Even if we go to a function for a small time, we have a set of duties. We should go greet the main person, then see that who all are there. There is a set of duties, not just directly go in the dining. When we go to a hospital, there are a set of duties that we have. So, now in the life as a whole, Bhagavan has placed me in this situation. So, we have so many relations. With every relationship, we have a duty. So, Bhagavan, you have put me here, I will do the duties. I will not complain why me and why I am only here, why all people are troubling me only. No, Bhagavan. I believe in your wisdom. I believe that you understand little better, a little more than me at least, if not lots. I know that in your supreme wisdom, you have put me here. And if I just stay put here with whatever problems or challenges I have, I know you will come and save me in every situation. Because it is your decision to put me here. And I surrender to your decision. So, once the surrender ka bhav, that understanding has happened, then what is the result of that? I continuously abide and do my duties. When we see a person doing that without any complaints, then we understand, oh, he is doing his duties because he is surrendering to the Lord. And the best example I always feel in this situation is a newly married girl. When she enters the husband's house, she thinks, okay, now I am in this situation. All the actions that I am doing are actually offered to whom? The husband. Husband's mother, so mother-in-law. Husband's father, husband's brother. What is the center point? My husband. All the relationships revolve around that one relationship. So, suppose he is in Navy, he is 6 months, he is in sea. So, they might not even meet. But whenever she is serving, even if she is cleaning the house, she is serving her in-laws, she is doing whatever, one basic thought is always there, I am doing all this for my husband. Similarly, Therefore, they all say, all the saints say that we are like the gopis for Krishna. What did the gopis do? Everything they did, Krishna, 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 Krishna. Everything. If they say, when they went to sell that curd and butter, milk and everything, they say, take Krishna, Krishna le lo, Krishna le lo. One day a gopi was sitting on the river bank, on the banks of Yamuna, and she was meditating very hard. She was trying to meditate. Naradji, our dear Naradji, he was passing by. He went and asked, what are you meditating on? She said, I have a big problem. This Krishna has created a big problem, so I am meditating. What problem? She said, he's not allowing me to do any work. Whenever I do any work, I'm thinking of him only. So no work is happening. So I'm meditating so that I can take him out of my mind. You know, that was the bhakti of the gopis. They can't but think of him. They said, when Uddhavji goes to tell them some jnana, they are telling Uddhava that why this creator created these eyelashes. Because even for a nimisha, when that closes, we are not seeing the God. That was their bhakti. How to put the mind in Bhagavan, there can't be a better example than the gopis of Vrindavan. So, that mind which is in the Lord's feet is always mukti sadhaka. Then, when we'll study the 9th verse, page number 33, verse number 9, together, because we have already read it. Tasmat sada hi dhyatavyam sadhakena prayatnatah mano me shiva sankalpam astu te kripaya prabho. You must have seen, I have seen, definitely, I have seen some mothers. When the child starts, when he is the child 2-3 months, then no problem. The mother can just put him, work around and all. When this fellow starts crawling, or when the child starts walking, then you should see the mothers. They are always on the run. Where he goes, I have to go and catch him. And this is a unique quality, It doesn't matter whether the mother is fat or lazy. If the child is going anywhere where he might end up in danger, she gets full speed. She runs with the PT Usha speed and catches the child and brings back and puts it back. That is full speed is there. Why? Because the child cannot see the danger that might occur, but the mother can see. And that is the reason mother goes and snatches the child and puts it back in a safe zone. So this is what I am supposed to do. Mind cannot understand where it is going. It will end up in danger. It will end up, it starts with something small. I will play a video game, for just 5 minutes. And then it ends up in 2 hours. Or, I will, this movie, I already know this movie. I have watched it. So just as a time pass, I am watching it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I will just fast forward and see. And then you end up watching 3 movies. Because in YouTube, you get suggested videos on the right hand side. So, but we always know that there is one part in us which says, now enough, please sleep, you have to get up in the morning, or enough, now go back to your work. You came here just to refresh because the work has really, it is little tiring. So you came to refresh your mind for some time. This is not your main job. Go back to work. But then no, that, it depends how well trained is the mind at that point of time. Whether it will listen to the intellect and leave that entertainment or whatever, or whether it will continue with that. Therefore, tasmat, therefore, sadahi dhyatavyam. O, O sadhaka, by a seeker of truth, with lots of efforts, prayatnatah, we should always dhyatavyam, we should always think, always pray to the Lord. What? Mano me Shiva Sankalpam Astu. O Lord, may my mind always be filled with auspicious thoughts. Shiva. Shiva means auspiciousness. Shiva Sankalpam Astu. Kripaya. O Lord, please. Kripaya. This Kripaya is very important. Lord, I will go in all the dirty things, but you please take me out from there. Like how the mother goes and snatches the child, like that you take me out from there and put me in the right things. That is your responsibility. Because what happens is, if I do it, then I get an ahankar. See, I have kept my mind under control. My mind is very sattvic. My mind doesn't go here and there. My mind is always in sadhana and satsanga and swadhyay. Then that is much more difficult. So, Bhagwan, please, I offer it to you. So, there are various meanings that have been given here. Mano me Shiva Sankalpam Astu. May my mind be filled with auspicious thoughts. So, either I can be, the decision is ours. What happens is, we think the thoughts are more powerful than us. And then we feel, oh, my mind is getting all these bad thoughts. Oh, I don't like my mind. Why God gave me such a mind? Like that we feel. But we have to understand, see, now can this come and hit me like this by itself? Unless and until it has the power of my hand, it cannot act. Why? Because it is dead matter. It is matter, it is just inert matter. It cannot act by itself. Similarly, thoughts are also subtle matter. It is only matter, it is nothing. Without me, the life force giving it all the power, it just cannot sustain. Whether it is a good thought or a bad thought, it cannot sustain in the mind without my permission. And what is the meaning of permission? Permission means thinking over it again and again and again. If I am not able to study well, what is the reason? I am not thinking over it again and again. If I am studying very well, what is the reason? I am thinking over it again and again. How do we develop any relationship? By thinking over that again and again. Yesterday we saw this. Whether it is a pen or whether it is a person or a place, how do we develop a relationship? By continuously thinking about it. So, how can I fill my mind with auspicious thoughts? By surrounding myself with auspicious things, auspicious people. By making the right choice. What is the problem? This is the most difficult part in spirituality, and that is being alert always. You cannot, मैंने एक बार सत्संग सुन लिया and now I am done for my life. That is not possible. Forget about spirituality. It is not possible at the body level. One day I went to gym. It is over. Is it okay? One day I had food. Now I don't need. We have to feed it every day. We have to clean it every day. We have to exercise it every day. If bodily things we cannot do once and get rid of it, we have to maintain the body itself on a daily basis, then how can, but about mind we expect that little bit I do and I should get the benefit all along. We don't realize that mind also needs a daily quota of its nourishment and cleansing and all that. If I can do that, then that is the meaning of auspicious thoughts. Therefore, we are always told when we get up, do a puja, then start the day. So many things have been instructed in our scriptures. There's a complete daily, what they say, how to live from morning till evening. A complete day schedule has been given, and it has not been given only you do karke. In Bhagavad, Lord Krishna's how Lord Krishna led his day, that has been given. And Bhagwan also, it's very beautifully given. Bhagwan gets up in the morning, he sits in his seat, he meditates, then he goes for a bath, then he comes back, then how he deals with the people, how he feels, how he treats all the people as Lord himself. Lord Krishna is treating the people as Lord. So, that is so everywhere and every time, if I can think of Lord, that is called auspiciousness. He is the embodiment of auspiciousness. So, may my mind be filled with auspicious thoughts. Another beautiful meaning is Shiva Sankalpam. Means what? Shiva Sankalpa means one is auspicious thoughts. Shiva, auspicious, Sankalpa, thought. Another meaning of Shiva Sankalpa is Shivasya Sankalpa. Means the Sankalpa of the Shiva, of Lord. So may the Lord's Sankalpa become my Sankalpa. May the Lord's will become my will. May I never have a separate will than that of the Lord. Whatever Bhagwan, you use me as your instrument. Can the carpenter's tools decide that no, on this I will put a different kind of a stroke? Can he decide? Can the brush of a painter decide, now I am picking up the red color instead of the blue? No. Whatever the painter decides, the brush just follows. Whatever the carpenter decides, the hammer just follows. So, oh Bhagwan, whatever you decide, I will just follow. I don't want to think over it, and I don't want to differ with you, O Lord. Because, anyways, even a blade of grass cannot move without His permission and without His will. So, it is only stupid to think and act according to my will. And it is only wise to surrender to His will and act. And therefore, Tanme Manas Shiva Sankalpamastu, may the Lord's will become my will. May I surrender to the Lord. How do I surrender? We have already seen. Lord has put me in this situation. Here, whatever are my duties, I will just do that. Then, okay, so always see this verse number 3 should be our touchstone, or we should always go back to that verse. What is the declaration of Vedanta? Na ahankara. Who am I? I am not the ahankara, mana, buddhi, deha. I am not body, mind, intellect and the ego, the ahankara. So, I am not the body, understood, but I have the body. There is a difference. I am not the body, but I have a body. So, how to use the body? We saw. I am not the mind, but I have a mind. And I have to live with this mind morning to evening, life to death, birth to death. So, I am not the mind, but I have it and I have to use it. So, how to use it the best? That we have seen. Now comes the turn of our intellect. So, there are 4 things which have been told. I am not these 4 things. 2 are over. Now, we are going to the third thing. We'll chant verse number 10, page 36 together. Buddhim tu sarathim vidhi yanayedratha jivanam karya karya vivekena manusyasya dine dine. Tu. There is a word tu. here. Tu means now we are changing the subject. We are done with the mind, we have understood, now we are changing the subject. We are going even subtler. We are going to the buddhi. Buddhim tu sarathim vidhi. Sarathi. Buddhi is the charioteer. Ya, which nayet. Nayet leads. What does it lead? Ratha jivanam. Jivanasya ratha. It leads the chariot of the life. Chariot called as life. Acha. How does it lead? Karya. Karya means should be done. Akarya means should not be done. Vivekena. Vivekena, discrimination, distinguishing between those two. Karya, akarya vivekena, manushyasya, of the human being, dine dine, every day. So every day I have to make choices. Should I get up now or after 1 hour? That is the first choice we have to make in the morning. After getting up in the morning, should I look at my phone or first do the puja, everything, and then touch the phone? I have a choice. Should I do japa today or should I just run to the office because I am already late? Every time, every moment we have choices. Should I cross the road before that vehicle comes or after that vehicle goes? We have to make a choice. Simple. So intellect is all about choices. How does it work? So through the senses, all the data is gathered. Today the plate is laid down. I have in my plate 2 sabjis, 1 dal, 1 roti, 1 rice, 2 sweets. So this is all laid down. So the eyes are giving all the data to the mind. And mind is supposed to give that data to the intellect. Then intellect decides based on its previous experiences. Last time I ate this sabji, it was tasty, but later on it caused problem. Or this sweet is very nice, but I should be little careful about the sweets these days. Like that, the intellect should take the decisions. It should convey to the mind. Then mind conveys to the hands and legs, and then it acts. But what happens is, Gurudev gives that beautiful example that all the post, the correspondence it comes to the office, and then the clerk has to receive all that and give it to the officer. And then the officer decides which should be answered, which should not be answered. And then the clerk has to follow that. But what happens? The clerk thinks I am very smart. And then the clerk says, I will take the decision. The officer doesn't know anything. And then the clerk takes decisions, and then the office, it shuts down within one year. So here also what happens? Yeah, that sabji had caused some problem, but it was so tasty, It's okay, it doesn't matter. I'll take a medicine, I'll pop in a tablet and I'll be fine. So the intellect is not given the chance only. Intellect says, no, listen to me. You don't know anything, I know everything. So the intellect is not given a chance, and the mind is not obedient to the intellect. What is the best mind? That which obeys the intellect. And on what should intellect take the decisions? Based on what should the intellect take the decisions? Based on what is the previous experience? What the Shastras are telling? What have I heard and learned from my elders? Based on that, so intellect has to be educated and mind should be disciplined to listen to the intellect. That is the most smooth life that we can have. Because every time, why are we not able to take decisions? Because there's a conflict between the mind and the intellect. Mind wants something else, intellect wants something else. So, this is how the intellect works. And this intellect helps me decide from small things to big things. When I go to a restaurant, what should I order? When usually Swamiji tells us this beautiful example, we all have heard, that even there people do laziness. Now you order na. He says his intellectual laziness. देखना भी नहीं है मेन्यू अरे तुझको खाना है you have to eat but for that also I don't see the menu card and I say whatever you say I will eat and then I want to try something new and then that was ordered and then that person says hey what is this you have ordered and you had a chance man you didn't order what you wanted or typically while crossing the road to and fro, to and fro, to and fro, it keeps happening. We are not able to decide only. What happens is we decide, okay, I'm going to wait till that vehicle passes. Then suddenly I change my mind. That vehicle is too slow. I can just go till then. So that vehicle wala thinks, oh, he's waiting. So he speeds up. And then I also speed up. And then he says, Are you can't see or what? Then I say, Are you have a big vehicle, you people are like that only, these rich people. What is this? What is the question of rich people and poor people in crossing the road? But haven't we seen the fights that happen? If a cycle person is hit by a car person, then it is the car person whom everyone abuse. Even if the mistake is by the cycle wala. So this is where intellect is not used, the mind is used. Here the emotions come in. You people are always like that. You don't give us any rights. We road hamara bhi hai. And all baseless arguments then start. So we have to understand and use it in the right way. So the beauty of human intellect is, see, everyone has an intellect. If the cow is walking on the road and if that cow comes across something, it uses its intellect to decide whether this is eatable or not eatable. If it is eatable, it will eat it. If it is not eatable, it will walk away. Simple. So everyone uses the dogs and cats. We have seen sometimes they eat grass. Usually they don't. But sometimes when the stomach is not well, they eat a particular kind of grass. And then they vomit it out and then their stomach is fine. Then nature control. So they have that much of intellect. That at that point of time you feed them the best of the food, they will not take it. So that much intellect they have. Some Gurudev says, some humans are also like that. I walk, I look at a person, useful, use. Not useful, throw away. Some things I take up, useful, use. Utility value. Intellect can be used for utility value, but that is not the sole purpose of the intellect. Intellect is not made and designed to just be of the utility value. No. Intellect has much greater achievements and much greater capability. But I use it only that much. Just even Einstein used his brain only 2 to 3% of his brain. Imagine how much we must be using. So, intellect can be like as we said, restaurant mein kya order karna hai, whether to cross the road or not, or there are some better things like should I take this job offer or not, what subject should I study, which art should I pursue, what is my aptitude. So these are the worldly things where I can use my intellect. Then a little more, what is ethical, what is unethical, at this point of time what should I do, how can I be very very ethical in everything that I do. And then the final culmination, how can I get rid of the bondage, what is the best way to get rid of this, discriminating between the self and the not self. All of us have the ability of discrimination. None of us are without that. If But if we don't have the ability to discriminate, we cannot live in this world. But what we should do is we have to use that same ability for higher and higher purpose, not stop only at that. Of course, we have to decide to cross the road or not. We have to decide today what sabji to eat. We have to do that. But let us not stop at that. We have to grow up and think of what is the best use of the internet and use it. Because only we humans can do that. And if not we, then who should do that? So, and what is the, like we have seen this yesterday or day before, I think, what is the best use of the intellect? To surrender it at the Lord's feet and say, Lord, I will do according to what you have said. How do we know what Lord has said? Through the scriptures, through the Vedas, through the Bhagavad Gita. That is His own Vani. And therefore, surrendering it to the Lord is the best use. But you see, surrender cannot happen if I am lazy. That pole vault example. If before itself I leave the stake, that stake or rod, whatever, I will fall on this side only, I won't go there. So first I have to make the best use of it, take it till there and then drop it. Not drop it before itself. Like we saw this, how a lazy man can use Vedanta. Anyways, I am not the body, so let me not bathe, let me not do so many things. That's not the right thing. So using the intellect to the first using it to the highest. How? First trying it. When when surrender can happen, only when I try, and I fail. Unless and until I come across failure, I cannot surrender. Unless and until I try, then I understand that, I am not able to do it, then only I can surrender. Therefore, surrender is actually an intellectual property and not a mental property. It is not an emotion, it is an understanding. And to understand my incapability, first I have to use all my capabilities. The child, it walks to a good amount. And then when it is tired of walking, and now I am really not able to walk, then only it just raises both its hands. Now you have to lift me up. Now I am not able to walk. Similarly, when I try to control my mind, when I try to do so many things, and then when I realize, oh Lord, not me, it has to be you, then only that surrender can be true surrender. As long as I feel I am the doer, I can do it, I have all the things. Therefore, surrender is an outcome. I cannot practice surrender. I can practice doing and always remembering the Lord. These two things I can practice. But surrender has to be an outcome of lots of efforts. Haven't we done this? We sometimes, if we are good in a particular subject in our schools, then if the teacher is really nice and wants you to learn more, suppose let us say mathematics, the teacher gives us a mathematics problem and says, now go home and solve this. And then we try and try and try, and then when we are not getting the answer, we go to her. If we go to her before itself, she won't give the answer. Then we have to show, I tried to solve in this method, then this method, then I tried to come to a solution in this way, but everything failed. Now you tell me. And then when we get the answer, we will never forget it, because we have tried to reach the solution in so many ways. So similarly, we have to first strive to reach there. And then when we fail, understand. That is the best use of the intellect. Now, how should we use the intellect? So, in verse 10, we saw how the intellect works. So, in the spiritual field or in, we should surrender, yes, fine. But in the vyavahara, in the daily transactions, what is that the intellect should be used for? And how to put it to the best use? So, we'll read verse 11 and 12 together because it is the same, it speaks about the same thing. Yad vishaye pramanam yad janiya tat pramanatah swarupam nishchitam tasya karma kuryan narastada. Vyavahare, 12th verse, 46th page. Vyavahare chikitsadi shastrani vividhani syuhu upayogam narastesham yatha kuryat paristhitihi. So once a man went to a lawyer and said, I am having lot of headache, please give me some medicine. The lawyer said, I am not the right person, you should go to a doctor. He said, no, there is a similarity between you and the doctor. What? You also wear a coat and he also wears a coat. So it doesn't matter even if you give me the medicine. Now we know this is stupidity. Why? Because I am not going to the right pramana, to the right person to get the correct knowledge. We should always go to the correct person to get the correct knowledge. And this, in India, what happens is every person is a doctor and every person is a philosopher. Self-proclaimed. You just try and tell someone, I am having this problem. Simply, someone asks you, how are you? I'm fine, this is the small problem I'm facing. Out of 10 people, 9 people cannot keep quiet but tell you some solution for it. We ourselves, so many times, yes, it is out of lot of love and concern, but we have to tell something. Do this, do that. हाँ, सर्दी हो गई तो ये ले लो. And then the best part is after some days we ask, did you do that? We want to make sure that our advice is followed also. How do you know? No, I simply know it like that only. I have not learned any anatomy or anything, but I know. You follow. You are my first guinea pig. I am trying out. And philosophy. Oh my God. You see, there is in Marathi we have someone called as Pula Deshpande, Purushottam Lakshman Deshpande. He was a great comedian. So he says how he is describing the Pune people, how the Punekars are. He says, if you want to be a Punekar, you should be able to speak very vehemently and very strongly about how the finance of America can be improved. Forget that you are working in the veterinary doctor of the government sector. That you forget. But you should be able to speak very strongly as if you know everything about it. Then you can be a successful Punekar. So, how much I know. And today we have the best pramana for everything, which is WhatsApp. Recently I read on WhatsApp. What? No, this is what I read. So if it comes on WhatsApp, it just becomes viral, it is circulated to everyone, and that is a pramana. Few years ago, when during the freedom struggle and all, if anything is printed, it is pramana. Yes or no? Even today, somehow we have that thing, If it is printed, somehow we tend to believe it. How much ever great things, if you get it in the handwritten format, I might not take it that seriously. The same thing you print and give me, I will take it very seriously. So printing itself was pramana. If any matter is printed, it is pramana. That is how it was. But it is very important to get the right knowledge through the right means. We have the famous story of four blind people trying to understand what is an elephant. So someone held the foot, and said elephant is like a big pipe or a big pillar. Someone held the tail and said elephant is like a broom. Someone held the trunk and said elephant is like a, like a big pipe or whatever. Is this okay? Maybe all of them are correct, but is that knowledge complete? No. Why? Because it is not through the right means of knowledge. Sometimes I smell the food and say, oh, it is not very tasty. But you are not using the right means. Eat it to understand it. So, it is very important to use the right means to understand the right knowledge. What are the right means? So, again, if we go in detail, in our tradition, there is a big discussion which is called Pramana Vichara. Pramana means of knowledge. Vichara, discussion, thinking. So before gaining the knowledge, first I should make sure that my means of knowledge is correct. And therefore, before going and attaining the Brahma Vidya, they do Pramana Vichar. That what is the best means to get the knowledge of Brahman. So the main three Pramanas are, first is Pratyaksha Praman, second is Anumana Praman, and third is Shabda Praman. Now we will see this. Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means Aksha means eye. Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means with the eyes. With the eyes means with any of the senses. So even today in court, what is the thing that is most believed on? Eyewitness. I saw it with my own eyes. I heard it with my own ears. I tasted it myself. I touched it. The best example for that is flowers. Nowadays we get these flowers and they look so real that unless and until you go and touch them, you can't understand whether they are real or not real. Or fruits also. Guruji says, one day I was sitting on a dining table and I was all along thinking, why there was a beautiful fruit plate. Why they are not giving me? He says in his most beautiful, innocent way. Why are they not giving me? I am so hungry. Fruit is there, but they are not giving only. Then afterwards I understood it was an artificial fruit. It was made of plastic. So unless you touch it, eyes is not the pramana for that because of the super manufacturing maybe. So I have to touch it to understand it. So I should use, so what is Pratyaksha Praman? Direct knowledge, directly through the senses. Directly through first-hand knowledge, what we call as the first-hand knowledge. That is called Pratyaksha Praman. What is the limitation of Pratyaksha Praman? I can understand only gross things. Eyes cannot see thoughts or eyes cannot see smell. Eyes can see only what is the forms. Ears can hear only names. So each of these Pratyaksha Prama, each of these senses can understand only about gross things and not about the subtle things. Okay, we'll get into it little more. Then next is Anumana Pramana. Anumana Praman, Anuman means inference. By inference I come to know. It is not happening in front of me, but I infer. Morning, you are sleeping and you have a neighbor, and she gets up 4 o'clock in the morning and start doing riyaz. So even if you don't look at the watch, if you can hear that disturbing noise, you understand, chalo riyaz shuru ho gaya, means it is 4 o'clock. Anuman Praman. You're not seeing that person doing the riyaz. Or once there was a man who went to a government office, and he said he wanted to meet the officer. So the secretary calls, are you, this person has come, what should I say? Tell I am not there. He said the officer is not there, so you can leave. Okay. The person says okay and goes and sits there in the chair. He's sitting there only, not getting up, not going only. So the officer gets very frustrated. Are why is he not going? I want to go out and do my work, but I have told I am not here. So the officer calls him in and says, how did you come to know I am here? The man says, everyone is working so beautifully. The entire staff is doing, they are on their place. They are not getting chit-chatting, not looking into their phones, not taking selfies. Everyone is doing their work. So that means you are inside. If the main person is not inside, who will work? So Anumana Praman. By Anumana I know that you are here. So Pratyaksha Praman, Anumana Praman, and what was the third? Shabda Praman. Shabda Praman, for Anumana also you have to be somewhere in the vicinity at least. But for Shabda Praman, it is, I am not seeing by myself, I am not inferring, but you saw it and you are telling me. By someone else's experience, I am getting educated. And we are filled with Shabda Praman. All the newspapers, the TV, the Google, everywhere. Or the news that we get, each one of us telling each other whatever. That is Shabda Praman. You know what happened? Yes, tell me what happened. And then it starts. Shabda Praman, gossip. So Shabda Praman. So these are the three means, major means by which we get knowledge. Now there is one basic necessity to even gain knowledge through any of the pramana, any of the means. What is that? I should have faith in that means of knowledge. If you are coming and telling me, I should have faith in you that you will tell me the correct news. If I am seeing with my eyes, I should believe that my eyes are seeing correct. If I have a doubt whether my eyes, then I will call. What is written there? Don't we call someone if it too far I am not able to see? What is written there? Not able to see. Then, because I don't have faith in my own pramana. Or I come and go, what is this color? I can see it green. No, it is not green, it is blue. That person tells me. So, if I don't have faith in my means of knowledge, in my pramana, or in pramana by itself, then I can never gain the knowledge. And mind you, the best means, the only means to attain Brahma Vidya is Shabda Pramana. Can we see Brahman? No. So Pratyaksha Pramana is out of question. Can we infer Brahman? If we can infer Brahman, then it means that Brahman can be understood by the intellect, but it is beyond the intellect. So not that way. Then what is the way to know the Brahman? Through Shabda Praman. And what is Shabda Praman? Someone who has experienced that particular thing, that person telling me, then I getting the knowledge is Shabda Praman. हमारे संवाददाता यहाँ से बात कर रहे हैं, अभी हम उनसे संपर्क करेंगे. Our correspondent on this field will tell us And then the correspondent who is there, who is seeing it in front of his own eyes, he tells us, and then we believe him. So he is knowing it through Pratyaksha Praman. And he is telling us through Shabda Praman. Therefore, if we say that we have to know Brahma Vidya through Shabda Praman, what does it mean? It means that I should go to a teacher who has first-hand experience of Brahman. Then alone that person can tell me the truth. Who can explain, who can describe the beauty of Taj Mahal better? One who has seen it in pictures or one who has actually been there? One who has actually been there. So, we should always make sure, even if we are getting the knowledge through Shabda Pramana, we should make sure that person at least has had Pratyaksha Pramana. Otherwise, we know Chinese whispers. We start with something and we end up with something absolutely different. So, make sure that we learn from a teacher who is well established in this knowledge. And how lucky are we to have such teachers? How lucky and how blessed are we to have teachers who have abided in this knowledge, and then from there they are telling us. So, as we saw in the very beginning, if I have to go to a particular person and understand, I should go to the right means. I can't go to a motorbike repair person and ask him to repair my computer. For that I need a hardware, what do you say? Professional? Hardware professional, whatever. So, having known this, so in the world I understood what are the various means of knowledge. Now in the spiritual field, what should I do? How should I gain that knowledge? So let us chant verse number 13. We will conclude after verse number 13. Shruti smritischa dharmadau vedanto brahma darshane pramanam vidyate sakshat kimanyena prayojanam. So two things have been told here. Dharmadau, in dharma, etc. Dharmadau, what are the means? Shruti and smruti. In Brahma Darshana, what are the means? What is the means? Vedanta. That is the Upanishads. We should have little knowledge about our scriptures. When we say Shruti, Smruti, Purana and Itihas, these are the four things. If someone asks you that, what are your scriptures? Tell me in short. So all our scriptures, whichever scripture you take, it is divided in four main categories. First is called Shruti, next is Smruti, next is Purana, and the fourth is Itihasa. Shruti. What is the meaning of Shruti? Shruti means that which is heard, word meaning. So, the entire Vedas is called Shruti. Why? Because the student heard from the teacher, printed on his mind, learnt it, lived with it, and passed it on to his student exactly in the same way. Then that student passed it, that student passed it. So they have only heard and passed it. Heard, experienced, lived, passed on. So Shruti, it is all heard. Therefore, you see, if you start learning Vedic chanting, you cannot learn Vedic chanting by reading, because it is Shruti. Vedic chanting has to be learned only by listening. The better listener you are, the better chanting you can do. You try to learn one Vedic mantra, one Vedic sukta. You will realize that you cannot do without listening. Without listening, we cannot learn Vedic chanting. So, Shruti. Then, Smriti. Smriti means memory. So, whatever I have heard, I remember and I write it down. That is the meaning of Smriti. Simple. Now in Smriti is, so Shrutis are not man written. You don't have an author for Shruti. Why? Because it is when the rishis were meditating, in their meditations, um, when they got tuned to the universe, to the total mind, then some mantras, some concepts, some great revelations were made to them. So they don't say that, oh, I created it or I wrote it, I made it. No, it was revealed to me. Therefore, huh? Huh? Hmm. 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 Because if you want to catch, like for example, the radio waves are everywhere. So, what is the existence of radio? What is the purpose of radio? To catch the waves and give it out to the people around. Similarly, when that great rishi is there, when his mind is fine tuned, and when it is tuned to the higher, all the rays are caught, they are well channeled, and then we are the lucky ones to get the benefit of that. That is the existence, that is the purpose. So, we were saying that Smriti is that which they have heard and they have written down. So, we have many Smritis like Yajnavalkya Smriti. The famous Smriti is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Why it is called little, it is a Smriti, but it is little apart from the Smritis. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita, usually a Smriti always gives us do's and don'ts. Vedas give us the philosophy, and Smriti gives us the do's and don'ts. How to bring it into practice? What is the meaning of that? What is the philosophica? How to bring that philosophy into our daily lives? That is what the Smritis tell us. So, Bhagavad Gita no doubt tells us that, but it also gives us the philosophy by itself. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita stands out in all the Smritis as the epitome of it. Then Purana. Purana means Pura api navam. It is old, yet it is new. Purana is the leelas of all the leelas of Bhagavan, all the stories. In Purana, there can be two things. In Purana, the stories which come can be either real or there are some stories which have been created for our understanding of a particular concept. So, we should not say that the Krishna stories are unreal. No, no. Lord Krishna stories and all, there are so many beautiful stories which are very, very real. But there are a few stories which are created for understanding a concept very, very correctly and precisely. Purana. There are 18 Puranas. And then there is Itihasa. How do you split Itihasa? Iti, ha, asa. Iti, does. It happened. Does it happened? So Itihasa is not like history, you know. We do translate it as history, but the what is the why it is said Itihasa? Because Ramayana and Mahabharata has really happened. When we say Ramayana and Mahabharata as Itihasa, it is not a mythology. that it is someone's imagination and which is simply written down. No, 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 no. It has really happened. So, why we went into this? Because we need to, here it is said Shruti and Smriti. So, we need to understand what is Shruti and Smriti. So, in case of dharma here, dharma is duties. What duties I should do? What are the various performance of various yaga, yajna, home, havan, all that I have to do. How should I do it? All that has been given in the Smriti and in the Shruti. Now, you see, in the second line it is said, Brahma Darshane Vedanta. In case of, in order to understand the Brahma Darshan, to understand the knowledge of Brahman, what is the means? Vedanta. Now here they have said Vedanta. Now is not Vedanta a part of Shruti? And earlier also they have said Shruti. So why has it come two times? Because when they say if for dharma Shruti is a means, here the meaning of Shruti is the first two portions of the Shruti. Which are they? Karma Kanda and Upasana Kanda. So these two portions form that part of Shruti which gives me knowledge about dharma. Dharma here means duties, how to perform various rituals, that much. And the last portion, which is Vedanta, which is called Upanishads, which is called Jnana Kanda, that gives me the knowledge about Brahma. So that is why it is given here separately. That Brahma Darshane, Vedanta is the means. And then Guruji says, having known this, why do you need any other pramana? Kim anyena prayojanam? What is the use, what is the need of any other pramana? Now what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is, today I want everything to be scientific. I want to understand everything through science. Even spirituality, they say, very scientific, They tell us in a very scientific way. It is like, in the olden days, home food was the best food. Then slowly, hotels started coming up. So we used to go to hotel, usually because of helplessness. Chalo, aaj gas khatam ho gaya, so we are going or something. So what will the ad they will put up? Yethe gharguti jevan milel. The food here will be home-like. You will maa ke haath ka swad and all that, They will advertise like that. Nowadays what they advertise? Make restaurant like curry at your house. Yes or no? Nor and also, anyways, I should not take any brand names, but whatever. What they say? Restaurant ka swad ghar mein. And then they will show an advertisement where the husband is eating and he will say, kahan se mangaya? She will say, arey maine khud banaya. Then he will say, wah, 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 wah. So, actually we are going down and down. Earlier, the restaurants used to strive to make food of the home taste, like homely. Now, ये पतन हो रहा है. Restaurant को हम घर में ला रहे हैं. So similarly, if I want to understand spirituality in terms of science, it is actually bringing spirituality to a lower level. Why? Because science, which pramana is used in science? Pratyaksha and maximum anumana. Will Shabda Praman do in science? Someone saw. Will any scientist accept? You saw, okay, I agree. No. A scientist has to see it by himself. So, science uses only Pratyaksha Pramana. Means what? Science deals only with the gross world. And I want to understand subtle things and subtlest thing in the gross means. How stupid. And if Someone asks a scientific question in spiritual class, then they say, oh, very intelligent. No. In buddhi also, there are two types of buddhis. One is called Tikshna buddhi, sharp intellect. Another is called Sukshma buddhi, subtle intellect. Not necessary if I have a very sharp intellect, I can understand everything in the gross world. Not necessary I will understand spirituality also. Because spirituality needs that I should be introvert. So, Tikshna buddhi or sharp intellect is very, very different from Sukshma buddhi, subtle intellect. Because sharp intellect makes me extrovert and gives me knowledge about the world. Subtle intellect makes me introvert and makes me understand myself. So this is the difference. Now it is 8 o'clock, so we'll conclude and then we can have question answers. Okay? Officially we'll conclude. So again please open to page 120 and look at verse 3. Na, I am not ahankara, mana, buddhi and deha. So now we are done with I am not deha, but how to use the deha. I am not the mind, but I have a mind, how to use it to the best. I am not the intellect, but I have an intellect and how to use it in the best way. So now what remains? Ahankara. I am not the ego, but I have an ego and how to use it to the best. We are always told, get rid of the ego. But Guruji with lot of compassion is telling it, no, use it. Use it in the right way. How? We'll see tomorrow. Nice thought flow, right? How beautifully Guruji has written one by one. And he himself is opening up slowly every subject. So we'll continue tomorrow. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.